I got a lady. Hey, I got a lady. Name is the upper echelon, she a debater. Baby, she can give it to you straight, no chaser. She got the smarts, she got the heart, she got the confidence. Baby, she the upper echelon. You know you intimidated. Stupid can't play with smart. She got the smart, she got the heart, she got the confidence. Baby, she the upper echelon. You know you intimidated. Stupid can't play with smart. 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 Hey, I got a lady. Hey, I got a lady. Hey, name is the upper echelon, she a debater. Baby, she can give it to you straight, no chaser. She got the smarts, she got the heart, she got the confidence. Baby, she the upper echelon. You know you intimidated. Stupid can't play with smart. She got the smart, she got the heart, she got the confidence. Baby, she the upper echelon. You know you intimidated. Stupid can't play with smart. 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 Hey, I got a lady. Hey, I got a lady. Hey, name is the upper echelon, she a debater. Baby, she can give it to you straight, no chaser. She got the smarts, she got the heart, she got the confidence. Baby, she the upper echelon. You know you intimidated. Stupid can't play with smart. She got the smart, she got the heart, she got the confidence. Baby, she the upper echelon. You know you intimidated. Stupid can't play with smart. 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 Stupid can't play with smart.
Good evening, my good people. What is going on? Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Also, make sure that you hit the notification bell. Thank you for joining me. I know that it is late, but I have a couple of things that I wanted to present to y'all tonight. What's going on? Let's see who's in the room before I get started. Hey, Terry, thank you for that. Hey, Nicola Williams, welcome in. Hey, Empress Awaken. Welcome, Kim Colby. Hey, Ebony. Michelle Hagley Granbay, welcome. Hey, Shawnee. Hey, Tabernay, Lady Tuck, Matt, No, Brittany Davis, Barbara Weaver, Lametrius, Robin Lotz, Blueberry Boots, Carol Smith, Shanta, Rosalind, Loving, what's going on? Tasha, Golden Girl, hey Krisha, hey Gigi, good evening, Upper and chat. Upper, you absolutely got the smarts. You should have been a lawyer. You be on point bringing in facts. Thank you, I appreciate it. Hold on one second, y'all. Let me pull something up really quick. Turn this off. I wanted to bring you guys some juicy gossip. I want to bring y'all some juicy gossip. Gossip, but true gossip. Okay. Who else is in the room that I did not speak to? Hey, Jay Thomas. Girlie with no apologies. Welcome in. Batenda, welcome in. What's going on, my dudes? Boogie Bella. Tyrese with the T. Precious. London Sky. Brandy Gibson. And I can't, what does this say? Althea Zimmerman. Doris McKinney. Welcome in, everybody. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, don't forget to hit that like button for me when you come in. And if you're in the bushes or if you're new to my channel, please make sure to subscribe. I'm sure that you'll love it here, okay? Today, we are going to talk about what happened in court. I know there are a lot of questions. We're going to talk about a couple of things that happened in court on the day of the detention hearing, okay? And while I'm speaking, if it sounds like I'm reading, it's because I am, because I had to take some notes. Yes, I do have an insider. No, I can't tell you who that insider is. And that insider will be giving me the inside scoop if I can't make it to court so that I can let you guys know what's true, what's false, what's real, what's fake, what's factual, and what is fiction. Okay, so let's get into it. Also, I didn't set a goal tonight, but if you would like to send a super sticker, you can just click the $ at the bottom of the screen. If you would like to send a cash app, it's pinned at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so let's get into it, y'all. Before I get into it, I want to say this first. I want to mention something, and then I also want to play a clip for you guys. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, I've obviously been listening to other content from other content creators, and I've also been looking through comments here on YouTube and on Facebook. And what I've noticed is that a lot of people are putting a lot of basis on the fact that Holly has not yet been convicted of first-degree murder. She has only been charged with first-degree murder. Now, what I want to make clear to you guys is I want you guys to understand the difference between a charge and a conviction. Now, most people know the difference as far as we know that if you're charged, it simply means that that you are suspected of being guilty of something. If you're convicted, it means that they have proven it. But I just want to break it down in a little bit more clear for you all. So, no, a charge is not a conviction. However, now listen closely, you guys. However, a charge for first-degree murder is very, very, very serious, and it means something. It means that the prosecutors believe that they have enough evidence to move forward. That is really important. Now, let me pull something up for you guys because I want to read this to you guys because I want you guys to understand step by step before I get into the particulars of what happened in court. This is not clickbait. I did not title it that, but I'm going to do something else. I am going to tell you what happened in court, but let me get through this part first, okay? I don't do clickbait, y'all. So In Illinois, well, not just in Illinois, but everywhere in the United States, prosecutors cannot just charge anybody just because they feel like it. They must have probable cause. That's another thing that I forgot to mention. A charge involves probable cause. In order to charge someone, you do not have to have proof beyond a reasonable doubt. In order to convict someone, you must have proof beyond a reasonable doubt that they committed that crime. If there's even a small inch of doubt that this person is not guilty of what they were charged with, they cannot be convicted of, they should not be convicted of said crime. Okay, so we got the difference. The difference between a charge and a conviction is that to charge someone, all you need is probable cause, meaning you just need enough for investigators, the jury, the grand jury, the prosecutors to believe that you committed the crime. However, they don't dig deep enough in order to say they have proof beyond a reasonable doubt. That comes with the conviction. So, in order to get a charge, they must have probable cause and actual evidence. That part is also really important. We're going to get to that in a minute, okay? Because I'm looking at the comments. They must have probable cause and actual evidence that suggests a crime may have happened and that the defendant may be the person responsible, okay? So not only do they have to believe it, but they have to have evidence to back up their belief. Meaning, and I told you guys in a previous live, they cannot just charge someone with something for no reason. So if someone has been charged with something as serious as first degree, not second degree, not manslaughter, but first degree murder, that is proof enough to let us know, let's use context clues, that there is some evidence out there that possibly you all don't know about and I don't know about, that showed the grand jury, showed the prosecution that this is a charge eligible for first degree murder. Okay, so here's how it works. Step one, the police present evidence. This includes, police present evidence. This includes witness statements, video, if video exists, which we know it does. That's very important. I'm going to tell you something. I don't want to jump the gun, but I'm going to tell you something that's insider information. Not only does video exist, but a lot of video exists from a lot of different sources. So video exists that captured this incident, not just from one source, not from two sources, but from many different sources. So when people were wondering why the investigation was staying open for so long, the reason it was staying open for so long is because they didn't have to just get camera footage from one source, but they got camera footage from every source possible. Okay, so not only do they need witness statements, video, but they also need physical evidence in order to charge someone. Or not need, but that is something that they would use within evidence. 911 calls is what they may look at, injuries, timeline, and statements from the defendant. Step two, the state attorney reviews it. Now, remember, I told you guys previously that there are steps to charge a person. The police don't just run down to the jailhouse and say, hey, let's charge this bitch. It doesn't work that way. The investigators do their job, collect as much evidence as they can, and then after that, they submit the evidence to the state's attorney's office. After they submit all of their evidence to the state's attorney's office, that evidence is called a packet. They take that packet, they give it to the state's attorney, and the state's attorney reviews it. So this packet and this evidence goes through many channels before they say, okay, you know what? She should be charged with this, okay? So many people reviewed this evidence and agreed that this charge was appropriate. So let's not forget that, okay? This is why a charge is important. because it shows that there is something that exists that causes not only the investigators, but the state's attorney, the prosecutors, and I know they keep saying that there was no grand jury held, but I just want you guys to know that's a big fat lie. There was a grand jury that was held, and 12 to 16 people also decided that there was enough evidence to charge her with first-degree murder. Okay, so now after the investigators do their police work and they gather all of the evidence, that evidence is then submitted to the state's attorney. The state's attorney then reviews that evidence. Now, in order for the state's attorney to agree that this person should be charged, the state's attorney, number one, must believe that there is a reasonable chance for conviction. Number two, they must believe that there is enough evidence to show the person committed the murder. Number three, proof to defeat a claim of self-defense, at least at the charging stage, meaning that in order for the state's attorney to agree that this person should be charged, it means that somewhere some evidence exists or some sort of proof must exist that eliminates the claim of self-defense, giving the state's attorney the confidence to say, if they use a grand jury, and in this case they did, let's submit this to the grand jury, okay? Now we're on to step three. Now we've went past two channels at this point. The first channel was the investigators, okay? The investigators passed it to the state's attorney, okay? Now it's left the state's attorney's desk, and now we're moving on. Step three, the state charges, step three is it goes to the grand jury. The grand jury decided to charge as well. But let's go on to what it says here. The state charges the highest possible charge that fits the evidence. So I've been hearing a lot of information that's incorrect. And one of the things that I've been hearing is that what they did is they gave Holly the highest possible charge because they want her to plead down. Now, that is a strategy that is used, but that's not the only reason that it's done. The state charges the highest possible charge that fits the evidence. The state has to look at the evidence and then decide on a charge. So if they decide that this case should be a first-degree murder charge, that means that there is some evidence that supports that charge. So I want people to understand, when you listen to different people talking about it, or if you're having a debate about it with someone, if you ever hear somebody say that they just threw that charge on her, I want you guys to understand that is not true. There is something that exists that gave the grand jury, the state's attorney, the investigators, the confidence to believe that, number one, that she is guilty of first-degree murder, and number two, there's something that exists that shows that it was not self-defense. Okay? Now, so like I said, the state charges the highest possible charge that fits the evidence. If they charge someone with first-degree murder, that means, number one, they believe the shooting was not justified. Number two, they believe self-defense does not match the facts. Number three, there is evidence contradicting the self-defense claim. And number four, a judge and a grand jury agreed that the case should move forward. So we have to remember, even though we don't know all of the facts, and see, this is the way I've kind of been looking at this case since the beginning. Since the beginning, I realized that I don't know all of the facts. However, I'm working with what I do know. And oftentimes with cases like this, what you do know is enough. It's enough to make certain determinations, and which is the reason why she was charged. But so let's go on. So, but being charged is not the same as being found guilty. Okay, so there is evidence that she might be guilty, is what probable cause means. Okay, is not proof beyond a reasonable doubt, which is required for a conviction. This is exactly why people are held in jail until pretrial, as pretrial. The charge is serious. The judge believes they are a danger to the public or a flight risk. I told you guys the other day, the reason why I was able to come out and let you guys know before it actually happened that she was not going to be released after her detention hearing is because she's charged with first-degree murder. So like I said, you don't have to know everything in order to use context clues to make it make sense. When people were saying that she was going to be released, I was able to positively, about 97% sure, know that she wouldn't be released, because I understand that if you are considered a danger to the community, a judge is not going to release someone with a charge of first-degree murder. How do we know that she's a danger to the community? Because she killed someone in public, in a school zone. Also, because they charged her with first-degree murder. If they charged her with first-degree murder, then obviously they believe that she's a danger to the community. So obviously they're not going to let her go. See, sometimes we just got to look at sometimes shit just it don't take that much to figure stuff out. So now also another reason that she is held until pretrials, because the evidence presented at the actual detention hearing, is what we're getting ready to talk about today, was strong enough to justify holding them, meaning that they have enough evidence to hold her. Okay, so I want people to understand that Holly is the odds are not in her favor. The odds are not in her favor, rightfully so. And then after we talk about what happened in court, I do want to go back to Brown Mike on Facebook again, because remember earlier I played his not played, but I read his status on Facebook, and basically he was saying that he believes that Holly would get second-degree murder. He even did a live on it too, as a matter of fact. But this morning he came back with another status because he had done more digging on the story. And when he came and did more digging on the story, he was able to say, wait a minute, no. It looks like this fits first-degree murder. So I didn't agree with him earlier when I was reading his status and looking at his lives, because I've been following Brown Mike for years, and he's really popular here in Chicago. He knows what he's talking about. And I don't find myself disagreeing with him often, but when he said that, I didn't agree. But now I understand that he said that because he didn't know certain things about the case. So the purpose of me giving you guys all of this information is because I just wanted to convey to you guys a charge matters. A charge really, really, really matters. Is it a conviction? No. It doesn't prove 100% guilt? No. But it does show us something. A charge is not a conviction, but you don't get charged with first-degree murder unless prosecutors believe they have real evidence. They're not throwing that charge out there for fun. Something in the case made the state believe this is not self-defense. Now, when the trial begins, that's when we are going to see what it is that they saw. What is it that they saw that caused them to so strongly believe that this was not self-defense to where they charged her with first-degree murder? Because they saw something pretty incriminating and they heard something pretty incriminating. So we're going to find out what that thing is, because we don't know yet. I don't know yet. So let's move on to this. Now, someone sent me this clip today. Now, I knew I heard it before already, but I just want to play it just to remind you guys, okay, of something. Okay, let's see. All right, let me pull this up.
We should note that last year, Johnson, the suspect, filed a stalking no-contact order against the victim. The order of protection was granted in July, but was never served. Johnson.
Let me stop this here. Okay, I just want I stopped it there because she said something that I want to comment on really quick, and I'm gonna let her finish. I just want to know, when are we gonna stop saying that Romika knew that she had a order of protection against her? The judge, well, I don't want to talk about what happened in court yet, but I'll just say it has been verified by the media. The media has inside connection with the state's attorney because the media is very close with the courts, okay? The media has already let us know that Romika was not served with an order. So we have to get over our bias. We have to get over what we want to see happen. And we have to get over our delusion. And we have to face the facts. One of the things that has been said for a very long time is that Romika knew that she had an order of protection against her. A lot of people have been saying that she was served in court, in open court, with an order of protection, and that simply is not true. So I really hope that moving forward, we can stop telling those lies and focus on the facts. I said very early on that Romika was not served with an order of protection and that it was placed in publication because that's what the documentation shows. And now we see that that is a fact. She was not served with an order of protection, and she did not know that an order of protection was put against her. We also found out through the media that that same order of protection, they attempted to serve her after her death. Yes. So hopefully we can put that lie to rest. She was not served with an order of protection. Okay. And that is going to matter a whole lot in court. Okay. So let's go ahead and finish playing this. And I'm not going to interrupt again.
We should note that last year, Johnson, the suspect, filed a stalking no-contact order against the victim. The order of protection was granted in July, but was never served. Johnson does have her FOID card and concealed carry license. She claims self-defense, but the judge says celebrating in the streets after shooting someone is not self-defense. Reporting in the newsroom, Sade.
Judge said celebrating in the street after shooting someone is not self-defense. And yes, in fact, the judge did say that in court. So we're going to get into what the judge said in court on the day of the detention hearing. And she went ahead and said that. Now, what I want to say too, though, now I'm just using my common sense. I'm just going to say that I don't think that the judge would have said that. And I don't think that that would have been a valid reason to keep her detained or to charge her with first-degree murder. And I don't think that the media would be blasting false information if it didn't happen. So what my spidey senses are telling me, and what I'm starting to believe, and what I believe is going to be revealed very soon to the public, is that there was a fist bump. Yeah, I think that there was one. And I think that a lot of people don't want to admit that. And I think that one of the excuses that a lot of people are using is, oh, well, we don't have the proof. We need the proof. We need the evidence. We need the proof, because they don't want to believe it. But the truth is that if it were not true, that would never have been brought up in court on the record. I want you guys to understand something about court, because I'm in court quite often. If they don't want something on the record, they're going to say off the record. If they don't say off the record, then the attorneys and the judge knows that it will be transcribed. Why would any attorney, or not attorney, I'm gonna say judge because the judge is the only one that has the power to say on or off the record. No judge is going to make a determination like that and have it transcribed if it is not true, or unless they have seen some pretty strong evidence that it actually happened. So if you don't know what I mean when I say transcribed, I'm not trying to challenge you all's intelligence, but I just know that everybody don't know certain stuff. Transcribe means type. You ever see somebody in court and it looks like they're typing everything that they're listening to everything that's being said, and sometimes they have to say, "Hey, can you repeat that?" And then they keep typing. They're keeping a record of what is being said in court. The judge in court on record said basically, self-defense is not celebrating in the streets after you kill someone. You don't fist bump somebody after murdering somebody and say that it's self-defense. Now, my spidey senses are telling me that no seasoned judge is going to sit there and say that unless they've seen something. Now, you don't have to agree with me, but that's just my belief, okay? Are y'all ready to get into what happened in court? And then we can get into Brown Mike later. Or do you want to do Brown Mike first and then we can talk about court later? If you want to talk about court first, put a 1. You want to get into Brown Mike first, put a 2. Let me pull this down. I'm waiting to see what y'all want to do. Y'all want to talk about court first, put a 1. You want to talk about my opinion on what Brown Mike's new status said, go ahead and drop a 2. And I got to pull out my notes. And if I'm stumbling over my notes, it's because I did chicken scratch and I wrote all over the place, and because I was rushing and I wasn't writing as neatly as possible. So overwhelmingly, people are saying they want to hear what happened in court. So let's get into what happened in court. Okay. Let's see. What do I want to talk about first? Okay, this is all over the place, so I'm going to try to keep it in order. And then I'm going to update you guys every chance I get. Every chance that I get, every court date, I'm going to speak with my source if they can, and I'm going to come to you guys and let you guys know what happened. Now, one thing that is for absolute certain is that if you're wondering, or if you want to really verify who witness number 1 is, because I've been hearing rumors and all of that, just to let you guys know for absolute certain, witness number 1 is Carlos, okay? Carlos is witness number 1. A lot of people have been saying, or have been harping on, the 3 or 4 witnesses that we know about. Can't say how many witnesses there are, not at liberty to. However, there are a lot of witnesses. A lot. How many witnesses have we heard on YouTube? I want to say we heard the Naja News reading off a witness statement. The Hispanic woman, we heard her, and we know that the Hispanic male. So most people know about, and then you got Carlos. So a lot of people know about those 4, I think. But just understand that there are a lot more witnesses, more so in the double digits, okay? Now, another thing that was mentioned in court is that Lady Tuck said at least 8. No, there's more than that, Lady Tuck. There's a lot more than that. A lot of people are talking about the discrepancies between the witness statement. What I want you guys to know is that in most criminal cases like this, there is always discrepancies amongst witness statements. However, in this case here, the difference is that there are certain things that all of the witnesses agree upon. Also, there is not just the witness statement, but a lot of the witness statements corroborate with the video. Not only that, but a lot of the witness statements also corroborate with the ballistics in the autopsy. This is what makes the witnesses credible. Okay. Now, let's talk about what all of the witnesses, now we're talking about what was said in court. All of the witnesses agree, including witness number 1, that Holly did not have the gun on her person. Holly ran to the vehicle to get her weapon. The second thing that everyone agreed upon is that Holly shot Romeka while she struggled with Carlos. The other thing that the witnesses agreed upon, including witness number 1, is that Carlos pushed Holly away from the altercation. Another thing that the witnesses agreed upon is that Romeka had her arms folded during the time that Carlos was pushing Holly away. Keep in mind that the CTA bus captured a lot of that particular information. Okay, so now let's get into what Holly's attorney argued in court for her to be released. We know she argued about the pregnancy. But not only did she argue about the pregnancy, but she also stated that she had proof that Romeka was a, quote, wild child. She stated that Romeka made threats to Holly's grandmother. She stated that that Johnson has a TPO or order of protection against Romeka. After her attorney said these things, the judge stopped her. The judge told her, first of all, and I'm using my terminology, but first of all, before you started speaking negatively on her name, being Romeka's name, you offered no condolences to the family. You're showing no sympathy. The judge pointed out that Holly's attorney was not sympathetic towards Romeka or her family. The judge then asked about the order of protection. He wanted to know who the judge was that ordered the order of protection. Holly's attorney stated that she did not know. The attorney offered to give the judge a copy of the order of protection. However, she would need the original back. The judge declined and said that he would pull it up himself. I'm reading slow because, like I said, I wrote notes and it scribbled. Okay. He was able to find the TPO. Okay. So he was able to find the TPO. However, it was verified that the order was never issued to Romeka. That was also verified in court. So again, if you hear anybody still saying that Romeka got the restraining order, that's a lie. Before I move on, also the attorney brought up the pregnancy. And not only did she bring up the pregnancy, but she also brought up the fact that Holly has a child that she needs to care for. And she asked that Holly get electronic monitoring, which I told you that the defense would definitely ask for. The order of protection was issued on June 14th. Not issued, but it was granted, approved on June 14th. Okay. Now, after the judge found the order of protection, he went over the particulars of the order. After the judge went over the particulars of the order, TLC said, upper, that part isn't true. She and the judge both knew Judge Michael Weaver granted the order. Okay, well, that's what my source gave me, that he didn't know who the judge was and that he had to look it up. But if that part isn't true, then okay. So never served to Romeka accordingly. Judge said to the attorney. Never served. Okay, so I said that part. He never served Romika the order, or the Romika was never served the order, so they verified that part. Now, the judge then went into, and then mind you, this information is coming from a very, very reliable source, okay, who I'm going to be working with. Hold on, y'all. Let me read this. Okay, so one thing, this part is good right here. One thing that the judge pointed out about the order of protection is that he read the file from the TPO and noted that both parties argued with each other. So we have people saying that Romika was the aggressor, Romika stalked Holly, and Romika had Holly in fear for her life. Then we have some people saying Holly stalked Romika and had Romika in fear for her life. It seems from what I was told that the judge noted that both parties mutually argued with each other. He also brought up that he noted that in the TPO, it stated that the child had boils, which he didn't like. The judge also brought up that, asked her, did she understand her training when she took her CCL class? According to my source, there was also a CCL instructor in the courtroom. The judge said, if you have an order of protection, you call the police. The judge questioned and brought up several times in which Holly could have called the police. The judge stated that during the headlock, she could have called the police. The judge stated that after the first shot, she should have called the police. The judge stated when she went to the car, she could have called the police. The judge also made note that the witnesses are credible. The judge questioned, how can an argument turn into a homicide? The judge brought up Holly's background during the hearing. When the background was brought up, Holly's attorney argued that I don't know what was brought up as far as her background. However, whatever it was happened 10 years ago. So when the judge asked about or brought up Holly's past criminal behavior, whatever that is, because I don't know, the attorney said that happened 10 years ago. The judge didn't care that it happened 10 years ago. I already stated CTA bus captured Carlos beating Romika in the face and had her in a headlock. Okay, so what else do I have here? Let me see. Okay. Well, the person also noted that the auntie, the one that got her niece locked up, Tammy, she didn't sit with the family. Tammy sat by herself, according to my source. There was also a rumor that Carlos sat with Holly's family. According to my source, that is not true. Let me see. Okay, so Carlos didn't sit with the family. He sat away from the family with 3 other people, I guess his friends. In total, Holly had 6 supporters in court. Romika had 65 in court and 45 outside of the court building waiting. Another thing that was noted here is that when the pregnancy was brought up, when the pregnancy was mentioned by the attorney, everybody looked shocked, including Carlos. The source said that Carlos tapped one of his friends or whoever those people were with him on the arm and looked shocked that she's pregnant. As most of y'all already know, it was so many people that had come to the court to support Romika that they had to move the courtroom to the upper level for more room. There were so many people on Romika's side of the courtroom that they had to use Holly's side as well. They also had to get more officers, way more than normal, at the hearing. And the judge explained that even though that's not typical, they understand that emotions are high. And so they had to have a lot of security there. Let me see. Let me just make sure I didn't miss nothing. Oh, I did. I think the last thing that I was told was okay. Holly did not appear to really be too sympathetic. I was told that Holly had on like a COVID mask or whatever. Only thing you could really see was her eyes. After it was all said and done, Holly walked away and it looked like she was crying. And that's what I have. Let me look at my comments. Hold on. Let's see. And then I'm going to see if y'all have any questions. I got to scroll all the way down. Hold on, y'all. Thanks, Eb, for the cash. I appreciate that, boo. Holly trapped Carlos. What he shot? Well, I guess he didn't know. Remember earlier when I was telling you guys that in the state of Illinois, if you're a female or if you have a uterus, I'll say that because I guess that's what the law says. If you have a uterus, when you get booked into jail, it is protocol to at least ask if you want a pregnancy test. It's not mandatory. You can decline it. So it's very possible that she didn't know that she was pregnant until she got to jail and took the pregnancy test, because that's a part of her processing. I got to stay off these lying panels. The other lady said Holly had a lot of support in court. No, Holly did not have a lot of support in court. TLC. My source says that Holly had 6 people in court for her. Can you verify that? So if somebody said that Holly had a lot of support in court, that is untrue based off of my source who was there. So Holly did not have a lot of support. Romika, on the other hand, had so much support. I heard that too, TLC. I was told that she just kind of was whispering to her attorney. Let me see. She had 6 people in court. 6. So don't believe the hype. Carlos up next. Why Carlos ass not locked up talking about? He will be. He going down too. If anything, what I think Carlos is gonna get, I think eventually, this is what I think, y'all. I think that due to the fact that Carlos is a witness, now mind you, keep in mind that one thing is that Holly's not allowed to speak to any witnesses. Her baby daddy is a witness. So ain't gonna be no calls from the county. She can't talk to Carlos. He is considered a witness. He's listed as witness number 1. So we now know that witness number 1, let me get my book, hold on. We now know that witness number one agreed that he pushed Holly away during the confrontation, and Romeka had her arms folded. Okay, so this is what witness number one says. So we know that. So mind you, witness number one is implicating her. He is not on her side, okay? He is trying to save his ass from what I'm hearing. That's what it sounds like to me, because the information that witness number one gave to the courts is not helping her. I had to push her away. This is a self-defense case. Witness number one said he had to push her away from Romeka. Romeka's arms were folded. Not only did all of the witnesses agree to that, but it was also apparently captured on city bus footage. So my prediction, the reason I brought that up is because my prediction is that those two is going to become a battle between Holly and Carlos. They're going to be going against each other. He's going to end up getting charged with something. He's going to be telling on her to save his ass, and she's going to be telling on him to save her ass. That's what I believe that it's going to eventually turn into. Let me look at some more comments. I know they said Carlos told Romeka she's going to pew you, but did he ever at least one time tell Holly no and don't shoot? I don't know. That's something I don't know. Now that's something that we have to wait to see. I can't say that he did or he didn't. Heck, I was almost 9 months before I realized I was preggo. 7 weeks is not wild not to know. Yeah, that's true. Most people are not going to know at 7 weeks, which explains why I don't think she did though. Just like she lied and saying the fist bump wasn't real. I think it's easy to say that the fist bump is not real because we haven't seen any evidence. Wait, let me see what TLC is saying. Support was not 50-50. When the rooms were changed, they had to move benches from one side to accommodate Team Pink and even seat some people on the other side until they ran out of benches. Okay, that's the same thing I heard. What I say is easy to say that didn't happen because we haven't seen any video. But like I said earlier, this is just my opinion. I highly doubt that the judge would say that if it weren't true. Now, I do believe it happened. Now, it could be left up for interpretation as to what that fist bump meant. Some people might say, well, maybe it wasn't a celebration. Maybe it was just them agreeing to self-defense. But my thing is, if you're agreeing to self-defense, I mean, if it's self-defense, why do you have to remind somebody that it's self-defense? If they know, I'm sorry for that noise, y'all. If they know that they were defending themselves, that's not something you have to tell them. You don't have to say self-defense, right? Because they already know it's self-defense. They're the ones that were in the situation where they had to defend themselves, allegedly. So why would you need to mention, don't forget self-defense? That just doesn't sound right. None of it sounds right. Let's see. Yes, they say support was 50-50. Who said that? Y'all was talking about they said that support. That's not true. No, it was not. Not in court, it wasn't. No, that's a lie. That's not. Who is saying that support was 50-50? That's a lie. That's not true. Holly literally, TLC is saying no more than 10, but my source, who also was in court, is saying there was only 6 supporters for Holly. I'm not counting Carlos because Carlos and his 3 friends weren't sitting with Holly's family. You had Tammy, who was there sitting off by herself because apparently looked like they ain't fucking with her. I don't know. But anyway, she was sitting, allegedly, she was sitting by herself. Then it was 4 or 5, maybe 5 other family members for Holly. She did not, it was not 50-50. Romeka had probably over 65 people in that courtroom, according to my source. And according to my source, who's a very reliable source, said that there was almost 50 people outside waiting for Romeka, all family and supporters. Family and supporters. So if anybody is saying that the support for Romeka and Holly was 50-50, that's a lie. As a matter of fact, Romeka has so much support for her that they had to use Holly's side of the courtroom to fit Romeka's family and supporters. Who's saying this? That's not true. Not that it even, I mean, I'm just saying it. Why lie about that? That's not true. She gonna lose it not talking to him. I think you there. She sure is, girl. Let me go down because I done scrolled too far up. Hold on. So Holly family making up lies. I don't know what Holly family doing, but I know it wasn't no 50-50. 6 or 7 people versus 65 is not 50-50. So I don't know who said that, but it's not true. And I don't know, what family member is saying. Maybe they embarrassed because nobody was there to defend that bullshit. And you know that you done fucked up when only 6 of your family members show up to support you. You know that you wrong. They probably know she wrong. They don't want to have nothing to do with that bullshit. The whole city of Chicago knows she wrong. They probably didn't want to show their damn face. I'm just saying, that's allegedly, but I'm just saying that might be what it was. I don't know, but she definitely did not have, it definitely wasn't 50-50. It's hard to match 65. I'm just saying. Amora doesn't like, so she's the one that said it was 50-50. I wonder who told her that. Maybe a family member told her. Maybe they was embarrassed because there wasn't nobody there, but she didn't know it wasn't 50-50. Means she knew Kiera, which means she knew that she was pregnant. Let's go up. Let's see what Kiera said. So TLC says she knows that she knows she was pregnant. Okay, she knew she was pregnant. They aren't going to tell her she's 7 weeks, though. That info came from her. Well, why do you say that? Why do you say that she wouldn't? Why do you say that? I mean, you could be right, but does she just pee on a stick, or do they do a full medical examination on her? Because I know she's in Division 8 of the jail, and that's the medical and / mental section of the jailhouse. So I'm sure they have the equipment to do a full-on ultrasound to where they can determine her period of gestation. So how do we know that she didn't have a full-on test or have a full-on examination? Because why would she keep that away from Carlos? Because it seems from what my source says that Carlos didn't know. Ebony said it was a desperate attempt. Thank you, Maxine, for that super sticker. Appreciate you, boo. So she peed on a stick. So that's why they don't know how far. I don't know. That part I don't know. You don't get an ultrasound at the county. Well, they say that it's the medical part of the county, so I don't know. Y'all could be right, I could be wrong. Corporate said, yeah, she knew she was pregnant. Q Ben said Carlos had a baby on the way. Oh, yeah, you're right. He did say that. I don't be listening to Q, so I don't be knowing what he be saying. So I don't be listening to him. I just be thinking he be talking shit, so I don't even listen to him. But now that I think about it, that was said, huh? But he made it seem like it was from another woman or something. David said that she went to the hospital the day before she was arrested. That's when they found out. Oh, okay. I thought she found out once she was arrested. Reese said it was so many people there for Meeks, they had to open up another courtroom. Yeah, that's what I was told, that they had to go to a upper level. She wasn't put in Division 8 until after the hearing. She got to the county that morning. Cretia said, no, it's not like that. She peed on a stick and that's it. Now they have went. Okay, so they went by her period, her last period. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, that doesn't mean she knew she was pregnant. That could just mean that they asked her when her last cycle was. Ebony said, but when you went to court upper, remember she hadn't been to the county yet. When she went to court upper, remember she hadn't been to the county yet because she had on regular clothes. Oh yeah, she did still have on her white jacket. Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right. In court, she did have on the same clothes she got arrested in. That's true. She still don't had on that same outfit. Y'all know she liked to wear the same clothes over and over again, so she should be fine. Well, the internet been talking about another baby for about 2 weeks now. Carlos knew. He knew something. Let me scroll down. No, it's not general population. She's not in general population. What's going on, Danny? Hey, Treasure. Hey, everybody coming. It's kind of a lot of people to say hi to all of y'all. So did y'all have any other questions about court, or that's all I have for right now? But I do want to go on to read what Brown Mike said about her charge, possible charge. Because remember, I read earlier, what did they say about her pausing before pew-pewing her more times? Did they say if Romika was on the ground? No, they didn't get, not to my knowledge. To my knowledge, no, they didn't say anything about that. They usually don't change you out until after court. I said I was getting ready to say that. Okay, so let's get on. If y'all don't have any more questions, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up what Brown Mike said. Y'all got me laughing. Okay, I'm just saying, I ain't trying to be shady or nothing, but you know, the source did say she still had on that white coat, and you know, she was in the same clothes for 3 days in a row. So we know she don't like to change clothes and shit. So she good, she Gucci. It's only been 1 day. Okay, so let me pull up Mike page real quick. TLC said, Lady Tuck, correct. She wasn't processed until after the hearing. Nana Forever said, Naja Hall said on her channel they both had a lot of... These people be lying. I don't care what Naja Hall said. That's a goddamn lie. I'm telling you now, we have somebody in the chat right now that was there. And then also I have an inside source that was there. She had 6 people. Well, TLC is saying no more than 10. But from what was reported to me, Holly had 6 supporters in the courtroom, y'all. Don't believe the hype. I don't even know why anybody would lie about that. I mean, okay, she doesn't. Is that I mean, is that shocking that she doesn't have support? She doesn't have a lot of supporters on. Maybe like maybe 12 or 13 people on her side online. Who the hell showing their face in court to support Holly? Let's be for real. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just, look, come on, let's just be real with ourselves. Ain't gonna be a whole lot of people actually showing their face to support somebody that did that, especially when she's like the whole city is against her. I mean, the only people that would show up would be close family because they're gonna ride with you. But the truth of the matter is, it's not speculation. She did not have a courtroom full of supporters. That's just the truth. I don't know why anybody would lie about that. It's not true. She did not. Romika had almost 100 damn people there. Holly did not have a lot of support, to the point where Romika supporters had to sit on Holly's side of the courtroom because they couldn't fit all on her on Romika's family side. So they literally had to use her side. Y'all don't believe this shit, people. Okay, so let me pull up After, okay, so let me pull this up. Now, this is after Mike said that he did more digging. Let's see. All right, and y'all know I like Brown Mike. He's cool, and he's smart too. I like smart people. He's smart, he's cool, he's non-biased, and he's educated. He's really educated. He has a lot of experience. I told y'all earlier that he actually used to be a criminal justice professor. So he used to teach this on criminal law on a collegiate level, which is important when you're talking about, you know, somebody's credentials and what they may know and their credibility. So that's why I listen to him, because he's smart. And I played his live stream earlier because, you know, I didn't agree with him, but I don't have to agree. I know, despite, you know, popular belief, I don't have to agree totally with you in order to understand where you're coming. And he was a police officer, that's true. Where you're coming from. I might not agree with you, but if you're making valid points, matter of fact, I forgot to, my bad, y'all. I forgot to tell y'all that that's true too, because I heard this. That was told to me too. I just forgot to write it down. This is true, y'all. This is true. It was so many people there to support Romeka, they had to start lapping up in the courtroom because they wouldn't let you stand. There was you were not allowed to stand. So they literally, her supporters and family had to start sitting on each other's laps. Kind of like when you getting too many people in the backseat of a car, you got to start lapping up. Remember when you was little, you had to start lapping up. They had to lap up. That's how many people came to support Romeka. Please don't believe the lies. Don't believe the lie. I'm still stuck on why would somebody lie about that? It's almost like, so if I lie about or mislead people about how many people came to support Holly, that will help that will help the people online that are supporting Holly feel like it's okay to support Holly because she had a room full of supporters at the courtroom. Lies. She didn't. This is the person that I have highlighted here was there as well. She was there. And that is true because that is what was reported to me, that her supporters had to start lapping up because it was that many people there stepping behind Romeka. When nobody stepping behind Holly. Nobody. But immediate family that felt obligated to be there because they fucking related. Other than that. Hell, from what I heard, Carlos didn't even sit with Holly's family. From what I heard. And he came late. From what I heard. Now, let's read what Brown Mike says. So let's see. Okay. Now again, this post was made after he initially said that he believed that this was a case for second degree murder. Again, I played that video, that live earlier, and I totally did not agree. Do I believe that she possibly could get second degree? Yeah, I do, because she'll be a fool not to take a plea. She would be a fool. So obviously they're probably going to offer her a plea, but if she goes to trial and tries to fight it, she going down for first degree. I trust and believe. So Brown Mike said, after doing more digging into Illinois case law, I have to be honest. She may still be very much on the hook for first degree murder under 9-1, and that's the code. I am still willing to be wrong. That's why I continue to do my research to correct myself, like any good practitioner should do. Holly's attorney is in for a fight, a big fight. I want a big fight. A lot of people, and let me hold on before I finish reading. A lot of people don't like the fact that I seem somewhat delighted about like I seem somewhat delighted about Holly being in jail because she has a small son and she's pregnant and everything like that. But I'm sorry if you feel that way. Just don't watch my content because I'm very delighted that she's going to prison. I'm very delighted that she's in jail. And honestly, I hope that she gets convicted with first-degree murder, and I hope they slap the longest sentence on her. And also, in the state of Illinois, oftentimes they add additional time to your sentence, especially if it's a case where you murdered someone with a firearm. They'll slap an extra 25 years on there just for good measure. So I'm hoping she get at least 20 to 60 years plus 25. In case anybody was wondering if I felt sorry for her. Just to let you know, I don't. He goes on to say a lot of people have been asking about the pause between shots or firing multiple rounds in premeditation. So let me introduce some case law. So for the people in the bushes, pay attention because I know that you guys are uneducated. So the Holly supporters in the bushes, I know y'all are uneducated about Illinois state law. So I want y'all to listen up so that y'all can stop telling lies, okay? So, under People versus Jenkins 69 and People versus Coolidge 26, Appellate 3D 1975 Illinois court have repeatedly said, and I told you guys this before too, I just keep finding like little key things that keep popping up that I told y'all already. So premeditation, like I said, is not required for murder. Intent can be formed in an instant. Premeditation is not something that is needed to be found in a murder case in the state of Illinois for first degree. Okay, maybe in other states, maybe in your state, but not in the state of Illinois. Facts TLC. She didn't think about her child when she did what she did, so I have no sympathy for her or her family. So then Mike goes on to say, so the state doesn't have to prove long-term planning. They just have to show she intended to act. And when you look at the facts, she walked away from the fight. That's number one. She went to the car. Okay. Also, and for the people that are still, I thought we got past that lie. Is it people still on here lying saying that she had the gun on her? I heard it was still people on here lying saying she had the gun on her. You guys, I know you guys want Queen Holly to be innocent, but Queen Holly did not have the gun on her. The judge mentioned in court that she did not have the gun on her. It has been verified by witness statements and footage that Miss Holly went to her vehicle to get her weapon. Okay, so can we stop telling that lie? We a little bit too far in this case to still be telling that lie. It's a couple lies we too far in the case to be telling. One is that Romika knew about the order of protection. I really wish that lie would go away. And she had the gun on her person. That's a big fat lie too, because she did. Can we stop telling that damn lie, please? I know y'all want y'all queen to be innocent, but that just isn't true. So the state doesn't have to prove long-term planning. They just have to show she intended the act, okay, for first degree. And when you look at the facts, she walked away from the fight. She went to the car. She retrieved the gun. She returned to the altercation. She fired multiple shots and fist bumped afterwards, according to the judge. Now, who y'all gonna believe, the YouTubers or the judge? I believe the judge. Those steps look a lot more like intentional conduct than fear. Now, remember, y'all, this is coming from an ex-cop, an ex-criminal justice professor, a family and child advocate. Also, he's a concealed to carry instructor. He was also in court. Now, could this drop to second degree murder? Possibly, but only if there is evidence that she actually believes she was in danger of death or great bodily harm, even if that belief is unreasonable. What is the subjective belief? What is unreasonableness? Unreasonableness. So, subjective belief. The defendant must genuinely, subjectively believe at the time of the offense that they were in imminent danger of death or great bodily harm, and that force was necessary to avert that danger. But if you walked away, you averted the danger. Unreasonableness. An objectively reasonable person presented with the same circumstance would have shared that belief. Meaning, so when they're looking at, is this something that most people would do? Is this something that the actions that she took, is it reasonable enough to say that most people probably would have took that action? I don't believe that most people would, and I don't believe that the courts would say that if I'm arguing with someone and have the opportunity to walk to my car, and I've had several opportunities to leave the confrontation, that I then walk back and shoot them twice and then fire a third time. That doesn't seem very reasonable. Which is why I said she's cooked. I want all of y'all to matter of fact, I need everybody in the chat to drop a fork in the chat, because y'all can put a fork in this bitch. She's done. She's cooked. She's finished, grilled, barbecued, a shish kebab. She's going fucking down. Put a fork emoji in the chat, okay? If I were presented with the same circumstances, if I'm able to walk away, go to the car, get the firearm, I'm able to start the car up and drive away, or at least run, or get on the bus. Or now he's saying this stuff, I don't agree with this because obviously the baby was in the car, but you get what he's saying here. That's the rule under People versus Jeffries and People versus O'Neal, which deal with imperfect self-defense. But here's the problem. In cases where the defendant, hold on, y'all. But here's the problem. In cases, hold on. No, let me get I have to let my dog out. Excuse me. Let me see, where did I leave off at? In cases where the defendant, Johnson, left the fight, armed themselves, and then came back, Illinois courts have consistently rejected self-degree mitigation. Why? Because those actions do not show fear, they show escalation. But why? That's why courts in cases like People versus Washington and People versus Willis, both Illinois appellate court decisions, held that a defendant who re-enters and escalates a confrontation cannot claim they had a genuine belief of imminent danger. Let me highlight this so I see where I left off at. Now, let me get my notes. Remember, that's going to be the fact that, let me see. Remember, that is one of the reasons why she wasn't released. The judge gave a few reasons in court as to why he believes that she is a danger, his words, not mine, to the community. One of the things that he did is he listed off a whole lot of reasons, I mean, not reasons, but a whole lot of times in which Holly could have made a different choice. That's going to be very important, because in a self-defense claim in Illinois, you have to prove that you did not want to kill her, you had to kill her. But if other options exist, that shows that you didn't have to do it. Other options exist. This is bad for her, because even the judge acknowledges that certain options existed other than what she did. And guess what? Ari Williams, all I'm gonna say is crickets. Now, the judge said, while Romika was in the headlock, why didn't you call the police? The judge said, if you have an order of protection, why didn't you call the police? The judge said, after you shot her the first time, why didn't you call the police? Clock it. Clock it. The judge is asking you, why didn't you call the police? I wonder how the defense is going to answer that question. Also, this order of protection that Holly filed against Romika in an attempt to, well, I ain't gonna say that because I don't know that to be true, but this order of protection that Holly filed against Romika that everybody keeps talking about because they think that somehow it's going to help her in court. Actually, the order of protection is hurting her in court. Actually, when the judge saw the contents of the order of protection, he noted that both parties argued with each other. He noted that neither party was innocent. He noted that there was no victim. He noted that Holly spoke on Romika's child. He noted that she stated that Holly's child had boils. He noted all of these things. The judge noted that Holly is not a victim from the order of protection. Clock that T. Now let's move on. And that's exactly the issue here. So Holly left, got the gun, and then came back. So I have to say this based on what I see so far. Now he's giving his opinion here on what he's seen so far from the evidence. Second-degree murder is an option, but not guaranteed. The facts may not support it. She may still be facing full first-degree murder liability. I'm not judging her. I'm explaining the law. And right now, the law is not leaning in her direction. I thought it might be. It still is a possibility, but so far, it's first-degree murder. Okay. So that's what Brown Mike says, and that's what I say too. I've been saying that since the beginning. I said before she even got charged that she should be charged with first-degree murder because it lines up perfectly. It fits the criteria. And so a lot of people are assuming or feeling like people are judging Holly. It's not judging her. It's actually looking at what happened, what's being reported, what she's been charged with, what the prosecution is saying, what the witnesses are saying. And a lot of people are trying to discredit the witnesses, but the judge said in court that the witnesses are credible. That's what the judge said. Now you have to ask yourself, why would the judge say that the witnesses are credible unless he saw something that makes them credible? One of the reasons that the witnesses are credible is because the witnesses are saying that Holly was not close to Romika when she shot Romika. All of the witnesses agree that she left, got her gun, and shot her from a distance away. How do we know she shot her from a distance away? Because allegedly she walked up. She took steps forward. Before I continue, I'm gonna, as a matter of fact, I told myself, I said, I'm gonna play Tia Ewing live stream every single time I go live on this story. And the reason I'm gonna play it is because Tia is not giving her opinion. Tia is reading a court document. A lot of people are saying Tia is biased. Is the court documentation biased as well? Is the judge biased? Does the judge know Romika? Does the judge know Holly? Does the judge and the prosecution know these people? Do the witnesses know them? At a certain point, we have to stop with the silly assumptions, okay? Okay, so TLC says that the judge also stated they are credible and unbiased, and they basically have the same story from different vantage points. Let me put that up there. Tag this. So from my report, from what was reported to me, the judge said that the witnesses are credible. TLC was also in court that day, and TLC said that not only did the judge say that the witnesses are credible, but the judge also said that the witnesses are unbiased, and they basically have the same story from different vantage points, which is pretty common in cases where there's several witnesses. All of the witnesses may have some differences in their report, but as long as the main things line up. And then let me tell you, so also when you talk about the witnesses' credibility, the witnesses, because this is what I was getting ready to get into before I read that comment. The witnesses are saying that Romeka was shot from a distance away. They were not fighting during the time of the shooting. And they were not close to each other during the time that she got shot. How do we know that? Because on the court documentation that Tia read, we know that Holly stepped forward and she shot, and then she had to walk closer to shoot her again, meaning that she was not close to her if she had to walk closer. Okay, we're using context clues in our common sense. Okay, so what the witnesses said about the distance in which Romeka was shot lines up with the autopsy report. This is why it's important to have all of these things: the autopsy report, the ballistic evidence, the toxicology report. All of these different things are needed because it can confirm or disprove witness statements. If witness statement said during the fight, Romeka was beating the crap out of Holly, and she literally put the weapon right on her and fired, and then the autopsy comes back and says there's no gunpowder residue on her, then you're going to look at the witness and say, well, that doesn't line up to the physical evidence, because she has no gunpowder, no stippling, no burn marks on her skin nor her clothes, but you're saying that she was right up on her when she fired. Well, that doesn't match the physical evidence. But in this case, the witness statement does match the physical evidence. So when people say that the witnesses are not credible and that we can't just go with what people are saying, we have to remember that we're not just going based off of what is said. We're going based off of what is said, also connecting it to the physical evidence. What is physical evidence? The autopsy report, the video footage, the footage from the CTA city bus that caught Romeka being punched in the face by Carlos and in a headlock. This corroborates with what the witnesses said happened. The witnesses are saying she was in a headlock. And remember, people were saying, we don't know that to be true. We don't know that. These witnesses are exaggerating. Remember that was said? They're exaggerating. Remember? But now we know, because it was caught on a city bus camera, that it wasn't an exaggeration. So now the camera corroborates the witness statement, meaning the witness is credible. Okay, so let's move on to Tia, because I want to play her because I feel like I got to. I mean, I just feel like I have to. Hold on one second, y'all. Or let me go to it. I feel like, hold on, let me see. I don't see it anymore. No, is this the one? Is this the one? I feel like I have to play her every time because I just need people to remind. I think I'm gonna do it at the end of every live stream, because I don't like how people are dragging this educated Black lady here and making it seem like she doesn't know what she's talking about, when really she's just reporting the news. She's just reporting what she's literally reading off of the paper. She's reading from a court document and people are saying that she's biased, that she doesn't know what she's talking about, that she has some sort of motive, and she could have some bias, because most humans have bias, because everybody has their own different moral standard. So when they hear something like this, yes, some people are biased, sure, but we have to understand that in this case, she is reading off of a document. Can we all agree on that? So if it's a document, it's very little room for bias. Can we all agree on that? Okay, so I just want to say some things because I want you guys to be reminded of what she said here, of what happened here, okay?
It also helps me prior to that life. So give me a second. Been threatened. Alternate the name. So Quadeja Johnson and Romika Blackman each have a child with witness one in this case. All three parties got into a dispute near a school. Johnson threatened Blackman multiple times in front of witnesses. Johnson then retrieved a handgun, shot Blackman multiple times in front of witnesses. This is according to the Cook County. This was filed for the murder charge, the first degree murder charge. So again, Johnson threatened Blackman multiple times in front of witnesses. Johnson then retrieved a handgun, shot Blackman multiple times in front of witnesses, and then we know, sadly, Blackman died. Johnson murdered Blackman after Blackman had just dropped her child off at school. Johnson celebrated the murder immediately after. Johnson was undeterred by the presence of witnesses, public setting, broad light near a school, and near many children. Multiple civilian calls to 911 before and after the murder. It basically goes on to say that she deserves to be held behind bars because clearly she doesn't care about the harm, and based on the previous circumstance that happened, nothing would stop her is essentially what it says. Now, this is what the court is alleging. Now, this is a 3-page document of all of the facts from the court. So it says, witness one has a 6-month-old child in common with Johnson, as well as a 6-year-old child in common with Blackman, the victim. In December 2024, the defendant sought a stalking no contact order against the victim, alleging that the victim made verbal threats to the defendant through the defendant's family members. The defendant in this case, let's go back. So in December of 2024, the defendant sought a stalking no contact order against, so that means that Johnson sought that stalking no contact order against Romika, alleging that Romika made that verbal threats to her through Johnson's family members. Johnson did not allege that Blackman committed any acts of violence against her. The order of protection was granted in July of 2025, but was never served on the victim. I think I kind of mentioned that a little bit earlier. On September 8th of 2025, just before 8:30 in the morning, witness one drove his black Mercedes SUV from his home located on South State Street. So this is the father in all of this, to the location of 20 West Cermak. Johnson was seated in the front passenger seat, and the 6-month-old child was in the rear. So the child was present through all of this, Johnson's child, in the removable car seat of the Mercedes. The defendant was dressed in a black jacket, that being Johnson, with green leggings. The father double parked his Mercedes on Cermak 2 car lengths in front of Johnson's black Chevy Cruze. Johnson and the father of their child.
So Carlos did not move his car at any point. He was already parked about 2 car lengths in front of Johnson, which is, as you know, Quadeja.
Then removed their child from the Mercedes and walked towards Johnson's Chevy and loaded the child into Johnson's vehicle. At approximately the same time, the victim drove her white Kia sedan to a school located near.
At approximately the same time, Romika bust a U-turn and pulled up towards them, meaning that from what we're hearing, the baby was already loaded in the car, which is also very important once Romika got there.
Bye. The victim was dressed in a light pink outfit. She dropped her 6-year-old son off at school and then drove to where Johnson's Chevy and the father of their child was parked on Cermak. Romika double parked her Kia on Cermak behind the father's Mercedes and got out, while Johnson stood outside of her car. At this time, witness 2, who does not know any of the parties, so a witness on the street.
Very important to note, none of these witnesses know these people. They have no reason to lie.
Drove past Romika, Johnson, and the father, observing that Johnson and Romika standing in the street arguing, but unable to hear exactly what was being said. This person observed the father standing in between the two ladies with his arms extended, and then observed the Johnson, she's D in this case, the defendant, Johnson away. So witness 2 observed the father push Johnson away from Romika, while that doesn't make sense, doesn't that, Flan? While Romika, unarmed, stood stationary with her arms crossed across her chest.
I'm gonna keep playing it, but I just want to stop it there. I just have no clue. I have no idea how anybody can continue to say that in this situation that Romika deserved to lose her life and that Holly is justified in shooting her. When we listen to what happened and what these witnesses said happened, not just what the witnesses said, because see, a lot of Holly supporters, they like to say, well, we can't listen to the witnesses. But what they leave out is that not only are all of the witnesses pretty much agreeing with each other, mind you, I told you guys earlier on, I know some people came in late. There are a lot of witnesses. There are a lot of witnesses. It's not just the 3 or 4 that y'all think it is. There's a hell of a lot more witnesses. Okay. So these witnesses are in agreement with a lot of these things. Okay. A lot of these witnesses do not know each other. They don't know each other. They have no reason to try to agree with each other or lie for each other. They don't know each other. A lot of these witnesses are individual people who do not know each other from a can of paint. Also, a lot of these statements have been verified through autopsy reports, ballistics, and video. It's not just the witnesses talking and the judge and the jury just believing. I'm sorry, the judge and the prosecution just believing. This stuff is being corroborated. Now, it didn't come out in court yet. Well, some of it did, but a lot of this stuff hasn't come out in court yet. Okay, so they have to go through certain processes like discovery and stuff like that. I saw somebody ask me earlier in the chat what's going to happen in court on December 23rd. I believe that's just going to be a status hearing, y'all. If you don't know what a status hearing is, it's a status hearing is like you got your initial hearing. During that initial hearing, they want certain things to be complete or done for the next court hearing. And those things, and so on December 23rd, they're going to follow up to see if those things were complete, whether that be discovery is complete or submitted to the defense or whatever it is. You know, I don't know all of the attorney jargon. But basically, a status hearing is to see where they are with the case, the prosecution and the defense. So it's a status hearing.
Minutes later, another witness on an eastbound bus that drove past saw this argument again between Johnson and Romika. She observed, and bus video captured, Romika and the father standing in the open driver's door area of Romika's Kia. At this time, this witness was walking east on Cermak, approaching State Street. This witness got off the bus, walked across Cermak, and stood under the CTA Green Line stop near another witness. Those two witnesses also don't know any of the parties involved. They observed the father standing in between the two mothers, Johnson and Romika. They observed Johnson walk towards the driver's door of the Kia, standing in the threshold of the driver's door with the father standing immediately outside of the driver's door. Johnson was standing on the sidewalk arguing with Romika. Another witness observed the father strike Romika by repeatedly swinging the driver's door of the Kia closed on her. Another witness called 911 reported that the father had struck Romika multiple times with the car door. After her 911 call, Romika entered her car. After her 911 call, she entered her car. But two witnesses then observed Johnson approach Romika's car and heard Johnson making threats towards Romika. Another witness walked closer to the incident at this time. That person observed Romika exit the Kia, and when she did, observed the father approach Romika from behind and place her in a chokehold with his right arm while striking her with his left. This is hard to listen to because this is some acts of domestic violence here as well. This witness observed Romika unarmed with her hands in the air trying to break free from the father's grasp. A witness heard Johnson make threats to shoot Romika and heard the father tell Romika that Johnson had a gun. Johnson then went to her vehicle, was observed by another witness retrieving a handgun and then standing on the sidewalk. The victim was able to break free from the father's hold and took steps away from Johnson as observed by another witness.
Do y'all know how damaging that is? Like, seriously, do you all know how damaging that is for a witness to say that they saw her step away, that she broke free? She put her arms in the air to break free away from Carlos and took steps back before she was killed. This is a self-defense claim. I remember earlier on, they were telling another lie where they were saying that Romika was advancing towards Holly. That's the lie that they told initially, but it turns out that witnesses are saying that Romika took steps back before she was killed. Not only was Romika taking steps back, but according to witnesses, Holly was advancing towards her. So that's equivalent, in my opinion, to chasing someone without running. If they're moving away and you're advancing, they're trying to get away from you and you're advancing towards them. That's nothing about that says self-defense. So when we try to be nice about it and say, she could have done something different. She could have done more than just something different. She could have not murdered Romika because there was no reason to. I don't care how angry she was or what was said in the moment to piss her off, or if she was mad because they got the same baby daddy, or if they had a Here's another thing that people keep saying that I completely disagree with. We don't know if they got into a physical fight. It doesn't matter, you guys. Do you guys understand that doesn't matter? Do you guys understand it does not matter if they fought? If they fought, it doesn't matter. At the time of the shooting, she was not fighting her. In the state of Illinois, you cannot get done with an altercation or a fight, leave the fight after it is complete, and then come back and murder somebody. It doesn't work that way. Do you all really think that legally you can get into a fight with someone, a fight that you willingly participated in, that according to witnesses, you helped to provoke? So even if there was a fight, do you really believe? Now let's use the brain that God gave us. Are you all really? I want you to drop a brain in the chat. I know there's a brain emoji somewhere. Drop it in the chat for me, y'all, because I want us to all use it right now. Do you all think that legally you are allowed to fight someone, and when the fight is over, that you're allowed to return and kill them? Because by saying keep Holly free, by saying Holly did nothing wrong, maybe she could have made a different decision, maybe. Don't y'all think that that's grossly illegal? Do y'all realize that witnesses said, all of the witnesses, hold on, let me get my notes. Not one, all of the witnesses agree that Romika got back in her vehicle. Y'all know that, right? Well, all of the witnesses that saw that portion agree that Romika got back in her vehicle. And then Holly approached the vehicle, said whatever she said or did whatever she did, and due to that, Romika got back out. Do you all think that it is okay to participate in provoking someone to engage with you only to murder them? Is that okay? Y'all think that's okay? I'm just wanting to know, because I'm trying to get into people's heads that are defending her actions, or defending her, or taking up for her, or feeling sorry for her. I'm trying to kind of just get into you guys' heads. I know there's almost 700 people in here. I know somebody is in the bushes that supports Holly. Why isn't anybody saying anything? What is it that you see about this situation that you believe is legal or just or fair? Because I think that it is very hypocritical and oxymoron to say she didn't deserve to die like that, but then to also say, but I would have done the same thing if it was me. You can't, those two things cannot exist in the same sentence. We cannot show understanding for what Holly did, but then say that Romika didn't deserve to go out the way that she did. I have zero understanding as to why Holly killed Romika. I can understand somebody being in a physical altercation, getting their ass beat, and shooting somebody. I could understand that. They might still have to fight that legally in the state of Illinois, but I could understand that better. What I cannot understand is someone arguing willfully with someone, having an altercation, the altercation ending, the victim getting into her vehicle, and the person who says they're afraid walking towards the vehicle to provoke the person to get out. Somehow that person gets into a headlock, and then the murderer then walks to their vehicle to grab a weapon while she's in a headlock. Don't forget, Romika would have never ended up in a headlock had she not gotten back out of her car. Romika got out of her car because Holly approached the vehicle. I cannot have not an ounce of sympathy or understanding about a person who is baiting a person to be murdered, because that is what she did. That's exactly what she did. And I'm not budging on my stance. That is what she did. And that's what the witnesses say that she did. And that is what the video sees that she did. And that's what all of the witnesses, for the most part, are saying what they saw. That she got into her car, but Miss I have an order of protection walked up to the vehicle after she got in the car and provoked her to exit the car again. Then she proceeded to walk to her vehicle to grab a gun while Romika was being restrained to shoot her. The question is, if Romika is being restrained, why does she need to be shot? You see her in a headlock, and your first thought is, good, she's in a headlock. Let me go to my car and get my gun. Instead of, good, she's in a headlock. Let me get in my car and call the police.
That witness observed Johnson put her handgun at Romika, walk toward Romika, and then fire multiple times at her with a pause between the first shot and the subsequent shots. This witness had just turned to walk away when he heard, this is another witness, a gunshot, a pause, followed by 2 more gunshots. He looked toward the direction of the gunshots and observed the defendant holding a black handgun in her right hand. Romika was struck multiple times and collapsed. Another witness, 2 witnesses moved Romika's body and moved her slightly west. I guess she must have fallen into traffic. That person then called 911 multiple times.
I was also told from my source, I forgot to mention this, that the first shot, well, we kind of knew this already, that the first shot was fatal. I was told by my source that as well. I was also told, and Tia is basically confirming that she fell after the first shot. Now, this case is about to get ugly. It's about to get real ugly. It's about to get ugly. They are going to throw the book at her, if that is true. If she shot Romika and Romika collapsed after the first shot, which is what I was also told, why is she still shooting her? Why? And we really have adult individuals that are out here saying that she was right.
The first shot and the subsequent, the father's grasp. A witness heard Johnson make threats to shoot Romika and heard the father tell Romika that Johnson had a gun. Johnson then went to her vehicle, was observed by another witness retrieving a handgun and then standing on the sidewalk. The victim was able to break free from the father's hold and took steps away from Johnson as observed by another witness. That witness observed Johnson put her handgun at Romika, walk toward Romika, and then fire multiple times at her with a pause between the first shot and the subsequent shots. This witness had just turned to walk away when he heard, this is another witness, a gunshot, a pause, followed by 2 more gunshots. He looked toward the direction of the gunshots and observed the defendant holding a black handgun in her right hand. Romika was struck multiple times and collapsed. Another witness, 2 witnesses moved Romika's body and moved her slightly west.
Now they saying that Romika's body was moved slightly west. I remember when the viral video first came out, one of the things that everybody kept saying is, oh my God, look, Romika's right next to Holly's car. Romika wasn't shot next to Holly's car. Romika's body was moved next to Holly's car because where she was shot at. Listen to what Tia's reading off the court document, Charlie. Don't take a rocket science to figure out what's going on here. Where Romika was shot at, they had to move her according to what Tia is reading because they wanted to protect her body from oncoming traffic. Meaning, where do you think her body was? Do you think that it was by Holly's car, which was parked by the curb? Or do you think it was by her car, which was double parked? You use your own brain and come up with your own synopsis on that.
I guess she must have fallen into traffic. That person then called on and reported that Johnson shot Romika and observed the father and Johnson fist bump one another afterwards. Officers arrived and observed that Johnson was unresponsive, unarmed, and laying in a pool of blood. On scene and covered in blood, Johnson was also on the scene and had blood on her. So the father had blood on him, Johnson had blood on her. Romika was transported to the hospital and pronounced dead shortly thereafter. Johnson was positively identified as the shooter. Johnson detained and admitted to the shooting. From her Chevy, officers recovered a loaded 9mm handgun. Evidence techs processed the scene, recovering 3 spent shell casings. Ballistics analysis revealed that all 3 of those spent shell casings were fired from Johnson's firearm recovered from the Chevy. This is crazy. Johnson refused medical attention, was transported to the police station where she claimed self-defense and acknowledged that this was the first time. Listen to this. Please, 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 please. If you don't hear nothing else I say, listen to this. This is insane. And this is why you don't get caught up. And why I made my statement earlier about not getting caught up in no mess. Does anybody know Carlos's last name? You guys keep putting that person in there. Who is Carlos in this case? You guys keep saying it.
I heard somebody mention that one part when I was listening to certain commentary. She don't even know who the baby daddy name is. So what? Who cares? She's reading the court document. Who cares that she didn't know what his name was?
I want to repeat this last part. I just emailed because you guys asked about Carlos. I just emailed to find out if he's been charged.
Baby T, listen, let me tell you something. Tia Ewing is not no joke. I just can't do nothing but laugh when these people be talking about her, because when I tell you this is one sharp lady right here, she really one of my favorite news anchors, because I like her personality and she's highly intelligent and accurate in her reporting. They really were trying to tear down this news anchor because she's reading the truth off of black and white paper, because they don't like what's being said. But the truth of the matter is she's not biased. She may be biased to a certain extent, because when you hear somebody shot somebody down like a dog in the middle of the street because they share the same baby daddy, I mean, who wouldn't be a little biased? You know what I mean? But she's not saying anything that isn't true. I think that needs to be acknowledged. She's not saying anything that isn't true. She's not making anything up. She's a professional journalist. Okay? And I'm going to say that I'm not going to sit back and listen to somebody tearing down this educated black woman, okay, who's doing her job.
Or will be facing charges. I'll have more to come on that. I want to read this last part again because it's very important. Okay. Johnson refused medical attention, was transported to the police station where she claimed self-defense and acknowledged that this was the first time. So this is all fueled by what? If this is the first time she had ever seen Blackman in person. Johnson did have a valid FOIA.
That I want to say that I heard that was really funny, right? So earlier I explained it is very easy to get an order of protection. I don't know about where nobody else is from. I'm just speaking on the city of Chicago. It is very easy to get an order of a TPO in the city of Chicago. Very, very easy. No, you do not have to show evidence to get a TPO. No, you do not have to show evidence of text messages and phone calls or harassment to obtain a TPO. If people are saying that, please let them know that they lying. It's not true. You can get I can go get a TPO right now. It's not the TPO that's hard to obtain, okay? I can go get a TPO right now and say, let me find somebody in the chat. Tay Bonet smacked me upside the head and said if I tell anybody, she was going to kick my ass again. And I can write that on the TPO and they will grant that for me because it's a temporary restraining order. Now, after I get my TPO, a date is set for Tay Bonet to come to court to defend herself against those accusations. From what we understand and what we now know, Romika didn't know anything about it in order to defend herself. And once it was granted to Ms. Johnson, Romika never received the order. So when they say that Holly has all of this evidence of voicemails and text messages and calls from Romika, my question is, why weren't those things shown to the judge that granted the order of protection? I don't see any documentation anywhere. And if I'm wrong, please send it to me. I'm okay with being wrong about some things. So you can send it to me in my inbox, but I personally have not seen any documentation showing that Holly has voicemails from Romika. And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong and show it to me, and I'll go look at the receipt. But I haven't seen any evidence that she actually has these things. The only thing I've seen is her saying that she has these things. Two different things. I see that she says she has these things, but has she provided these things? I guess we'll see in court. Maybe she'll provide them this time. Maybe since she's on trial for her life, she'll provide the voicemail of the threats and everything, the alleged threats from Romika. But I also want to make this clear. Even if she is able to provide threats from Romika, even if she's able to provide text messages or whatever, which I highly doubt that she has, then, and I could be wrong, but I highly doubt it, she's still going to fucking prison. Still going to prison. Period. Had too many opportunities to call the police, had too many opportunities to walk away. You had too many opportunities to disengage. You sat there and provoked her. Romika actually tried to distance herself from the situation, and you went and got her to re-engage. That is not a victim. That's not a victim, and that is not somebody that is afraid. And like I said on my other live earlier, I hope that in the morning she wakes up with one of those Cook County cockroaches on her forehead. And I said what the fuck I said.
Card in CCL at the time of the shooting. On background, she had had some other run-ins with the law. One run-in on record. Again, Johnson refused medical attention, was transferred to the police station where she claimed self-defense and acknowledged this was the first time she had ever seen the victim in person.
Come on, y'all. Come on now. Let's be for real. How you never come? I just gotta. Every time she gets to that part right there just always just really just blows the shit out of me. How have you never seen somebody in person ever? You got a restraining order filed against them that they don't even fucking know about. And then the first time that you ever see them in person, you murder them. I mean, what are the odds? Let's just, this is just, okay. Let's just say that all of this is a coincidence. December 2024, you get a TPO. Let me look at my paperwork. December 2024, you get a TPO. June 2025, get your what is it? Concealed to carry. September 8th, she's dead. Y'all gotta make this shit make sense. Well, she ain't gotta make it make sense. She gonna have to make it make sense to the jury. Cause that shit don't sound right. And I don't care who want to act like they don't see that shit, but that don't look right. That does not look right. Literally, December 2024, you get an order of protection. Some months down the line in the summer, you go ahead and get your concealed to carry. Then she's dead a couple months later. Y'all make that. Y'all gonna stop playing crazy with me. They're going to bring that up in court. Not only they're gonna let me tell you what I predict, what I think they're gonna do. They are going to mention when she got her her concealed to carry. They're gonna mention when she got her TPO or when she filed for it. Obviously, they're going to mention the date of Romeka's death. They're also going to talk about in between what happened during those times, between Romeka and Holly. Not just, see, the content creators on YouTube and the bloggers on Facebook are picking one side of the other regarding who the aggressor was. Was the aggressor Holly throughout the history of their conflict, or not just September 8th, but throughout the history of their conflict? I personally am more focused on September 8th, but I'll entertain it. You got some people that are saying Holly was the aggressor during that period of conflict. Then you have some people saying, well, look at Romeka's behavior during that history of conflict. But guess what's important? Guess what? According to what happened on the date of the detention hearing, the judge is acknowledging that both parties were problematic towards each other. The judge and prosecution are not attempting to demonize Holly alone. The judge and prosecution are acknowledging that they engaged with each other. Let me tell you how that's going to be a problem for Holly. It's going to be a problem for Holly because Holly can no longer play victim. Holly can no longer say she was being stalked. Holly can no longer say that she was being harassed because there's documentation that the judge pulled up the day of the detention hearing showing that Holly has also done things to Romeka. So the judge killed the defense before the trial has even begun, because you got to know that the defense was going to be the restraining order. The defense was going to be poor Holly is afraid of big bad wolf Romeka. That's the defense. The judge is letting you know straight up, day of the detention hearing, before shit even get popping, she ain't a victim. They both was engaging in conflict with each other. Neither one of them deserved to die behind it. But Holly bitch ass killed Romeka over it. So therefore, she needs to face the consequences of her actions because she wasn't a victim. And she clearly was not afraid, because not just what the witnesses are saying that they saw as far as her provoking Romeka on that day, but also on black and white, it shows her provoking Romeka. On court documentation, it shows Holly provoking Romeka before September 8th. So if the defense is that Holly has this long history of being harassed, it's dead. The judge don't want to hear that shit. He already pulled it up in court on the 3rd, where he said, let me get my readers. I read this verbatim. This is what the judge say. I read the file from the TPO, and both parties argued. Case closed. The bitch wasn't a victim. And the judge said she ain't a victim. The judge don't give a damn what none of you motherfuckers on YouTube got to say. The judge said she's not a victim. Excuse my language.
I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think that is the most awful thing I've ever heard. So you claim this person has threatened you through people.
I didn't mean to call y'all everybody on YouTube motherfuckers. It just came out like that. Sometimes I just get passionate. I'm sorry about that. I do apologize. But y'all get the point that I'm making. The judge doesn't care about none of that. The judge don't care about it. See, that's the difference between a courtroom and social media. Because see, social media can get you do have people that sway on one side versus the other. But I'm telling you that this is not just the judge just saying, this is the judge is, and then mind you, from my source, the judge didn't just say that. The judge literally pulled it up right there in court and literally read over the whole TPO, what was said. You know, Romika has made complaints against Holly as well in court. All of that was read on that day. He stated verbatim, they argued with each other. Both parties argued. He then went on to bring up Holly spoke, well, Quadeja spoke on Romika's son having boils. That's crazy he brought that up because I remember Keys saying that on his platform. So in other words, this is not a one-sided thing to where somebody is being harassed on a daily basis and they're afraid for their life and they're not saying anything back and they're changing their phone number because the person won't stop calling them and they're being stalked around everywhere they go by a crazed psychopath that won't leave them alone. No, this is a case in which Holly engaged with Romika on more than one occasion. You do know there's such a thing as legal harassment. Did you guys know there's such a thing called legal abuse and legal harassment? Did you know that sometimes people go get restraining orders just to harass people? Did you know that sometimes when people get pissed off, they will go and get a restraining order against you just to fuck with you? You didn't know? Y'all didn't know that? I thought everybody knew that. Y'all didn't know that? Y'all didn't know that sometimes people misuse the courts and misuse the justice system to harass people? Do you know, y'all didn't know that people sometimes go to the courthouse and lie on a restraining order just so that the sheriffs can show up to their enemy's house and issue them a restraining order just to fuck with them? And sometimes people get restraining orders and say, what the fuck I'm getting a restraining order for? I don't want to be around your crazy ass, no way. Y'all didn't know that? Y'all didn't know that people get restraining orders sometimes when they don't even be fucking with the person? Y'all didn't know that? Because y'all acting like y'all didn't know that. Yeah, people do that all the time. People abuse the court system all the time. People go into the courthouse and lie on restraining orders every day. All because they want to fuck with somebody. Just because they want the sheriff to pop up at their rival's house. Knock, 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 knock. Miss Davis, I'm not Miss Davis. Knock, knock, knock. This is just saying, in the event that Romika would have gotten the order of protection, we know that she was never served, but just say in the event that she did. Knock, 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 knock. Yes, this is the sheriff's department. Can you open the door, ma'am? We have an order of protection for you from Holly Johnson. Order of protection? I ain't never seen that damn girl. I don't even talk to that damn girl. That girl be calling me. She be bothering me. We done got into it with each other on social media, but I'm not stalking that damn girl. I don't need no order of protection because I don't want to be around her ass anyway. You do know that some people get orders of protections and react just like that, right? Because they be so confused as to why the fuck they got one. Because you got an obsessed motherfucker that is going around fucking with them for no reason. You know, that happens. So let's not act like that couldn't have been the case here, because it very well could have been. We're not going to sit here and pretend like just because she wrote some shit on a piece of paper. Yes, I have voicemails. She called my grandmother. She left text messages from an unknown number. She did this and that. So, okay, so where's the evidence? Where's the evidence then? Where is it at? Where the evidence at? Because I haven't seen any proof that she showed that shit. None, no proof. No, let me highlight this. This here, hold on, let me highlight that. Another form of harassment, calling DCFS for no reason. Oh, y'all already know what I do for a living. Y'all do know that people call DCFS every day and lie. Call the DCFS hotline and straight up lie. And guess what? There's no repercussions behind it. None. If you call too many times and lie, they might flag you or something, like flag your name, but you don't, there's no, people do it every day. Ring, ring, ring. Yes, is this DCFS? Yes, ma'am, this is DCFS. Hi, I just wanted to call to let you know that Romika's son has boils all over his body. I actually saw her dangling him out the window like Michael Jackson did Blanket. I think she be beating on him. He told me that he haven't eaten in 15 days. Can you go over there and check on him for me? And guess what? Legally, they have to check. Legally, they have to open an investigation. And normally an investigation is 30 days. People know that shit about DCFS, that they can call, make a report, and inconvenience your life. I can call DCFS just like Holly did to Romika and inconvenience your life. Because now your kids are going to be affected. Now you have an open investigation. A lot of times, if it's an open investigation, depending on what the allegations are, they'll take your kid out of the house. Yeah, I'm going to go to the courthouse, file a TPO on you. And now I'm inconveniencing you again because now you got to come to court. Now you got to see me. People do that shit every day, y'all. And guess what? The people that are supporting Holly know that too. They just don't want to admit it because they want her to be innocent. But she's not. And she going to prison. And she finna have a girlfriend. And she finna be living her wildest dreams because she gonna be able to wear the same every day because we know she like to do that.
You've never seen them before in person. And why would you shoot them?
Tia looked like she was typing that shit into Google. She said, and why would you shoot them again? Yeah, because we're all confused, Miss Ewing. We're all confused.
You guys think about that. But I think that is the most awful thing I've ever heard. So you claim this person has threatened you through people. You've never seen them before in person. And why would you shoot them? Why would you feel emboldened enough to shoot them?
Because the motherfucker wasn't raised right. And she's stupid and she thought she can get away with it. We know Holly's stupid. That's not even me. I don't give a fuck about insulting Holly. I don't give a damn. I said it. She's stupid. And I said it. She's stupid. Hold on. So, we know she's stupid too. How do we know she's stupid? Because her dumb ass got on social media and made a YouTube page and was promoting her coochie during an open murder investigation. So we know that bitch is stupid. Something got to be wrong, y'all. Something wrong with that. Something wrong. Maybe they'll put her in a special part of the jail for slow people. I don't know. Do they got a special part for people with developmental delays? Because something is wrong with that bitch. Something is totally wrong with her. This bitch, she promoting her coochie and creating YouTube accounts and uploading shorts and getting pregnant all during an open murder investigation. Something ain't right, y'all.
That's troubling. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I feel like that's troubling. Very troubling. And I pray that my 3-year-old daughter understands how important it is to love yourself, to not get caught up with no guys that's going to coerce you or influence your mind to do something stupid. And if you see signs of bullcrap, get out of it. That's my prayer. And men too got to do better. That's horrible. What would be your basis of shooting and killing somebody you ain't never even seen before, and they didn't have a gun? I don't know. All right. I appreciate you guys tuning in. More to come.
Let me show y'all this because I was scrolling on Facebook while y'all was listening to Tia, and I seen this posted in a group that I'm in. So this is a little bit of the paperwork that I guess this is what the judge read, I'm assuming. This is a written statement from Romika to the court about Holly. Okay, so this is what, so just like Holly has made complaints to the court about Romika, Romika has also made complaints to the court about Holly. So this is how we know that this thing goes both ways, baby. Y'all's queen was not a victim, okay? Y'all's queen was doing a little bit of harassment, okay? So, Romika said, so yes, she went on social media and spread rumors saying my son has boils, that she knows where I work, that my car broke down. I had to inform my job that someone of her nature might appear. I'm actually moving from my apartment now because she has researched my address. We have a mutual friend where she has called multiple times asking, do I like to fight or anything of that nature. I did seek, I think is what it should say, seek legal counsel for my child because my child told me he does not like her. And she also went on social media slandering my name. So I'm proceeding on charges against her already. Yeah, because she tried to do a lot of slandering. And I've never seen this woman a day in my life. Don't know who she is. We share a child's father. And he even said, I'm trying to find, damn, let me see if I can find the rest. Hold on, y'all. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think it shows the rest of it on this post. Let me see if I can find it. If I don't find it, it's okay. Because at least you guys know. At least you guys get the point that I'm making. The point that I'm making is that Holly is not an angel by a long shot. She's not an angel by a long shot. One thing that I think that people need to learn from this is that just understand that if you ever get into a situation where you feel, as well, in the state of Illinois, if you feel like you want to unalive somebody and claim self-defense, one of the things that you got that is so important that you need to probably consider is that the court is going to look at your history with that person. Now, if you don't have any history with that person, you don't know them from a can of paint, maybe you guys, just bumped into each other on the street and had an altercation, that's going to be looked at very differently than a case of two young ladies who have a history of altercation, who have mentioned each other in court documentation, and who share the same child's father. It's going to be very difficult for you to say self-defense when there's a history of you and this person going back and forth on social media, mentioning each other in court documentation. There's history of you calling DCFS on this girl for with really lies, what appears to be things that are not true. There's history of you on social media making videos subliminally talking about her and all her business. There is footage, history of you provoking her on social media. Maybe y'all provoking each other, but we're not talking about Romika provoking you because Romika is deceased. So now we only need to be talking about you because you killed her. There's a history of you engaging in provoking behaviors online. But see, they don't want to talk about that. They just want to talk about what Romika did. But they don't want to talk about that it was mutual. So if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to see if I missed anything today. Let's read this status from Holly's silly auntie that helped her get locked up. So Holly's silly auntie said, statement from the Johnson family. We appreciate everyone who has reached out with love, concern. Who is everyone? Is you talking about them 6 people that was sitting behind y'all? Oh, girl, if you don't stop it, girl, let me quit. Is you talking about them 6 people that was sitting behind Holly in the courtroom? Them 6 family members. Oh my goodness. Hold on, let me finish reading it. Hold on. We appreciate everyone who has reached out with love, concern, and support during this difficult time. Damn, her tune changed like a motherfucker, didn't it? She was just on here sharing pictures of videos of Holly getting foot massages and going on dates and promoting her GoFundMe and saying it wasn't shit gonna happen to Holly. She was saying what shit gonna happen to Holly. Now her tune changing like a mug, ain't it? And support. This shit sound like a eulogy. Support during this difficult time. Our family has been made aware of GoFundMe pages circulating online claiming to raise money for Holly. Y'all need it. Don't lie. Y'all know y'all need it. We want to make it very clear that the Johnson family, how she speaking on behalf of the Johnson family when I was told by an inside source that the Johnson family didn't even want to sit with your ass in court. How the hell you speaking for the Johnson family when they didn't even, I was told that you were sitting by yourself. They said you were sitting alone. They said that none of the family was sitting with you. You were sitting by yourself. So how you why you acting, this would be killing me. She's sitting up here acting like she the family spokesperson. The family ain't fucking with her from what I heard. I heard she was sitting by herself in support of Holly while the rest of the family was sitting away from her. This is what I was told. Don't get mad at me. This is just what I was told. This is what I was told. And I believe it to be true because I don't believe the person that told me would be a liar because they ain't lie about nothing else. But anyway, let me read the rest. We want to make it very clear that the Johnson family has not created, authorized, or endorsed any GoFundMe account, fundraiser, gives, and goal or donations on Holly's behalf. Holly's legal representation has already been fully retained and paid for by our family. We do not need or request financial support. Where did I end up? Where did I stop at? Supports account for fully understand. We want financial support from anyone. Your prayers, positive energy, and respect for our family's privacy are more than enough. If there are any important updates, they will come directly from the Johnson family and nowhere else. Now, if there's any important updates, they're going to come from a lot of different places because, baby, you ain't the only one. You ain't the only one that's in court, honey. Okay. If there are any important updates, they will come directly from the Johnson family and nowhere else. Girl, at this point, it's an open case. We can go online and find the trans. We want to update. All we got to do is look online for an update. Go to the court. Sit in the audience. Thank you for understanding. Or maybe she's talking about an update, like if they need any help or financial support. I don't know. Thank you for understanding and for continuing to keep our family in your thoughts. I just don't feel sorry for them at all. I just really, really don't. I don't feel sorry for them at all. The cockiness, the cocky behavior. The auntie was all up in the chats, all up in the comments, talking shit, not being sympathetic, just being insensitive, cocky to the motherfucker, acting like she wasn't shit gonna happen to her for taking somebody's life, talking about what Romika did and all of this shit. And now look at you. That's what your ass get. That's what y'all get. I don't feel sorry for them at all. At all. And ain't nobody going to make me feel bad for not feeling sorry for their ass. Not with the way they was acting. With that cocky shit. No, I do not feel sorry for them. I don't feel sorry for them at all. Not at all. Talking about the Johnson family. They didn't even want to sit with your ass. That's what I heard. Now, if that's a lie, come out and say it's a lie then. Talking about some of the support was 50-50. I just cannot with these people. Let me pull this down. I'm about to get off, y'all. It's getting late. It's still there. It's 1 o'clock in the, what time is it? 12:49. And there's 700 people up in here. Y'all ain't tired? Y'all not ready for me to end this live? But I think I am, though, y'all. I'm getting ready to end it. I'm tired. I covered everything I came to talk about. And I'll be back tomorrow. So I'll see you all tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow night. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Somebody said Fry Holly. Make sure y'all hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so that you can be notified of the next time that I live stream. Because like I said, I'll probably be live tomorrow. And yeah. And then after I end this live, make sure y'all hype me up. All right, y'all. Peace.
She a debater, baby. She can give it to you straight, no chaser. She got the smarts. She got the heart. She got the confidence. Baby, she the upper echelon. You know you intimidated. Stupid can't play with smart. She got the smart. She got the heart. She got the confidence. Baby, she the upper echelon. You know you intimidated. Stupid can't play with smart.